Hello and welcome to this week's edition of CU Sports Mag. I'm Joey Prechtel, and sitting next to me is my comrade, Laura Kuchkowski.
Thanks, Joey. Well, we do have a very exciting show for you this week. And while the current season may be over, we're going to take a little look forward to next season's football.
National Signing Day was Wednesday, and let's see how they did.
On Wednesday, the Buffs signed 15 high school seniors and 4 junior college transfers during National Signing Day. CU was rated the weakest recruiting class in the Pac-12, but Coach Mack doesn't see it that way. Coach Mack stated that he was very excited about this year's recruiting class, also adding that most of the 15 incoming freshmen will be redshirting. 10 of the 19 recruits will be joining forces with newly hired defensive coordinator Jim Leavitt. The Buffs look to shore up both the offense and defensive line, whose units struggled in conference play. 2 bright spots in this year's recruiting class are defensive lineman Lyle Tulomo and quarterback Steven Montez. Looking to fill holes in the defensive, the Hawaiian recruit Lyle stands at 6'3" and 315 pounds. Steven, a quarterback out of El Paso, Texas, committed to CU after participating in the Buffalo summer camp. He is currently ranked as the 12th best quarterback coming out of the state of Texas and poses dual threat ability.
We'll look different when we walk on the football field this fall. Our whole team will. They're doing an unbelievable job in the weight room right now, and we're got a more mature-looking football team. Yeah, I'm excited about this class. I really am. I'm excited about where they are, and we've got some guys, especially with the junior college guys, and you know, that are ready to walk in and play. We've got a couple freshmen, I think, that are physically will be able to help us a little bit, but we'd like to redshirt the rest of them and keep developing them. We have, for you to build a program, you better start having a lot of players that have been playing, are mature, and they're in their junior, senior, 4th, and 5th year. And that's where we're getting to, and that's exciting to me.
After much uncertainty surrounding head coach Mike McIntyre's slow hiring process, all vacant coaching positions for the Buffaloes are finally filled. Thursday morning, the Buffs announced that Jim Leavitt will be the team's new defensive coordinator. Leavitt's former coaching experience with the University of South Florida and his NFL pedigree as a linebackers coach with the 49ers should help the Buffs defense make a big leap forward for the 2015 season. Coach Mack also hired a secondary coach this week in Joe Tumpkin. The former defensive coordinator at Central Michigan is replacing Andy LaRussa for the 2015-2016 season. Tumpkin's resume includes coaching at a number of colleges and serving as an intern for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFL. With this hire, CU now has 3 new coaches with experience as defensive coordinators. The spring season officially starts March 15th. Fans will see how Coach Mack's new recruits and coaching staff stack up.
Colorado Athletic Director Rick George announced this week that the Sustainable Excellence Initiative took another major step forward, entering a new phase of fundraising. The Sustainable Excellence Initiative is currently the largest capital construction project in college athletics and includes the new Champion Center building, an indoor practice facility, and renovations to Dow Ward. George announced that the initiative has raised $57 million to date. Additionally, George announced the Drive for 105 initiative, in which the department has set a goal of reaching $20 million in endowment and funds and $85 million for the new facilities. The Champion Center building and Dow Ward renovations will be completed by August, followed by the indoor practice facility, which is to be expected to be finished in early 2016. Well, coming off a difficult 2014 football season, we all have opinions looking forward, and Rachel Reynolds and Andrew Hobner are here in studio to give us their opinions on the incoming recruiting class and newly hired coaches.
Hey Buff fans, welcome to this week's edition of Double Team. My name is Rachel Reynolds, and next to me, a man who needs no introduction, Andrew Hobner.
Wow, no introduction. I feel so official. I feel so smart.
Don't get used to it.
Well, I'll try not to. I'll let it slide today, though, because I, along with everybody on campus, is absolutely buzzing about our 2 newest hires at the University of Colorado football team.
That's right. We got a secondary coach and a defensive coordinator, Jim Leavitt from USF, who coached for 12 years. What do you think he will bring to this team?
Big hire. Those are the first 3 words that I'm just going to say about Jim Leavitt. He brings one heck of a pedigree. He learned under Bill Snyder at Kansas State. He was the co-defensive coordinator along with a certain guy, Bob Stoops, who was the legendary Oklahoma coach. And the 12 years he spent at USF are probably one of the biggest things that stands out in my head. 95-57 record, 5 bowl games in that time. But according to this stat here, this is what I love. Highest ranking, number 2 at one point in the AP poll. That was an NCAA record for the fastest ascension from D1 AA to become a D1 program and then get in the AP Top 25. It beat out Boise State by 7 weeks, and we all know Boise State is like that one elite non-Power 5 conference team. He's great. He spent time with the San Francisco 49ers as their linebackers coach. He brings an NFL pedigree, and at one point, he was asked to be the coach of Miami. He was asked to be a coordinator at Alabama. And anybody that Nick Saban and Roll Tide Brigade are asking to be on their staff, I think is a pretty good coach and pretty good hire for an upstart program like CU.
I agree, Andrew. What do you think about Tumpkin?
Tumpkin is an interesting one, actually. Joe Tumpkin was a defensive coordinator at Central Michigan and actually took what I would consider to be a step-down job to be a secondary coach at CU. But the one thing that I like about Tumpkin is he has linebacker experience, he has experience as a defensive coordinator, and he's also a pretty good recruiter from what I've been hearing. The interesting thing about Tumpkin is a lot of people criticize him because he works with linebackers more than secondary, and secondary is his position. But if you look at these stats, points allowed per game, pass yards per game under his watch as defensive coordinator at CMU, they're well below the NCAA averages for last year. And the other thing that people don't realize is Coach Mike MacIntyre likes to work with that secondary. He likes to have control of the secondary. He likes to have control of developing his defense. By having a guy who is not exclusively a secondary coach, a guy who won't say to Coach MacIntyre, I'm the guy, let me do my job, Coach Mac has greater ability to work. It'll be better for the chemistry of the coaches. And I think Tumpkin, along with Leavitt, great hire for the guys, great hire for the team, for the program as a whole.
I agree. I hope it'll be a success. Let's talk about recruits. So for the first time in 2 years, we got our first four-star recruit since Sefo Lufau. So what do you think about the new recruits that are coming in?
Now, Sefo, he's one of those guys you can consider him historic because after Embry, he was the only four-star that would come here. But this year is a big change, market improvement in the recruiting game. Timmy Lynott out of Colorado is a big pickup. Donald Gordon was a top 100 running back out of Texas. Patrick Carr is another guy that rounds out that class in the top 3. Lynott will probably be a red-shirted guy, but the other nice thing about guys like Gordon and Carr, Gordon will probably be an immediate impact player. He will have the ability to join that committee backfield and that one void that was left by Tony Jones. Should be a really great year for the Buffs.
Well, that's all we have for this week's edition of Buff Banter. Don't forget to tune in to the Pac-12 Network on March 15th for the spring game. Back to you in the studio.
Well, thanks, guys. You can catch a glimpse of next season during CU's spring game, airing live March 15th on Pac-12 Networks.
A former CU alumni received a Super Bowl ring after the Patriots won over the Seahawks last Sunday. Nate Solder, former NFL first-round pick and All-American, became the 35th former Buff to receive a Super Bowl ring. This also makes Solder the third former CU offensive lineman to win one. The Patriots have actually had at least one former Buff on the team for each of their 4 Super Bowl victories.
Well, it's once again time for us to reflect on the past and test your knowledge on CU sports. For this week's trivia question, we want to know, who was CU's head coach when they won the national championship in 1990? You can tweet your guesses to @CUSportsMag, and we will have the answer for you later on in the show.
Coming up after our break, see how our men's basketball team did in Askia's Booker final homecoming, and how our ladies did against a heated foe.
And a certain player has impressed the fans, and if basketball doesn't pan out, well, at least he has a future in men's retail. Coming up.
Future's open for business, so step right in and create something inspiring. Be motivated, be compelled, be excited, be united. To think deeper and see farther. On the field, in the lab, above the earth, beside great minds. Create something that doesn't exist and question what does. You can, you will, lead, exceed at the University of Colorado.
Inside each of us, there's a spark. To push, to challenge, to lead, and create ideas that change everything. Reimagine, reinvent, rewrite the way you see the world. Achieve the unthinkable, solve the unsolvable, and create the unimaginable. down the court, in the lab, above the earth, beside great minds. You can, you will ignite, unleash, excel at the University of Colorado.
Mom!
What?
You can't find Ichabod.
What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, how's your weekend? Oh, have you studied for jogging? Oh, yeah.
Pay attention. It matters.
Well, following that triple overtime thrill against USC, the Buffs failed to show up against the UCLA Bruins.
Yep, that's right, Joey. It seems that our offense just wasn't clicking that day.
And you know, Laura, I couldn't agree more. But let's take a look at those highlights. Money from deep. And Gordon sets the screen as Skia finds him. Who says he's a ball hog? And Gordon slams it down for two, and here's the replay. Slow-mo style, emphatic, the big man. And as Skia again, it's just the Booker show. Finds Trey for an easy tray, and he's money from deep.
And then now we're leaving the attention of Skia Booker, and we're going to see Dom Call at midcourt going down towards the baseline, an easy, almost easy layup for two. And then now once again we're going to see Ski forcing his way down the court and into territory, pushing as he gets past UCLA for that two-pointer. And then finally we're going to see Eli Stalzer not finding anyone he's able to do and finally getting a three.
All right, and let's take a look at that box score. As you can see, UCLA won 72-59. Skia Booker had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Wesley Gordon with 10 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist. Then Norman Powell for UCLA, 22 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. And Kevin Looney for 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists.
Well, although our men's basketball team isn't quite meeting our expectations, one unexpected player is standing out from the rest, regardless of sitting on the bench. Earlier this week, I had the chance to catch up with Josh Fortune and get an insight on the new bench attire and what I like to call the fortune of suits. So, clearly the suit thing, we've noticed time and time again on the bench. Was that something at the beginning of the season that you were told to do by the coaches, or did you come up with that yourself?
No, actually, Coach, I think last year most of the players actually wore like casual clothes. Yeah. But I actually asked Coach if I can wear suits because I'm, used to wearing suits. So, if I don't play during the game, I throw on a suit to look nice. So, actually, just I guess brought it here, and everybody wears suits now that's not playing. So
you've been referred to as the classiest person on the men's basketball team. Was that something you were aware of before I spoke to you, or is that something that's a new concept for you?
Actually, no, I didn't, really think of that. I just like to wear suits. I've always worn suits to like church, growing up or special events. So it's kind of like a normal thing for me.
So it also seems that you have never actually repeated the same suit.
It seems like I have a lot of suits, but I really don't. I just, do a good job of mixing it up. I like to not too out there, but kind of different. So I like to mix it up. I might go with a different color blazer, then different colored pants and black shoes, or a nice bow tie or something like that. So I like to mix it up.
Would you say that you have a favorite suit?
No, I'd like to, I don't have a favorite suit. I have a couple, I like all my suits basically. So everything I wear I like.
So now that I've clearly made a big deal out of this, would you say that you feel any pressure for the final home games?
No, not at all. I think I'm gonna still wear the suits. I guess now that y'all are noticing it, I guess I have to look up top par all the time now, but that's cool. I'm Josh Fortune. You can catch the Fortune of Suits on Twitter at CU Sports Mag or during the rest of our home games.
Josh Fortune will be eligible to play next season, although fans will no longer be able to look on in amazement at his suits. But they will finally have the chance to appreciate his shooting stroke, and hopefully the Buffs will play better with him in the lineup.
Well, last week, our women's team took on the 11th-ranked Arizona State Sun Devils from Tempe.
After back-to-back heartbreakers in Washington, let's see how our ladies did here at home. Oh, and there we're going to see Lexi Kressel sporting the K-Max shirt for Kyle McIntosh, and once again, traveling down to the baseline, passing off to Haley Smith, who's able to get that easy three-pointer. And once again, we're going to see Jasmine Sporoff handing the ball off to Jamie Swan, who again gets it to Haley Smith for another three-pointer. She was on fire in that game. Haley Smith passing it off to Jamie Swan, who goes up for the easy layup, and then Jen Reese trying to hit a two, misses. Jamie Swan going in for the rebound, trying to get the ball, and unfortunately ended up hurt.
You know, and she wouldn't return to that game, but Brecca Thomas here just pulls up for the deep three and drains it. Talk about some good future for the Buffs, and Jen Reese with the tough fadeaway in the paint and the foul. Buffs are happy about that, and Jen Reese last second desperation shot, and she unfortunately just clings it off, and ASU would get the rebound, and that would be the end of that game. And here's how it turned out. Colorado would lose to the Sun Devils 68-60. Lexi Kressel, 18 points, 1 board, 3 assists. Jamie Swan with a double-double with 10 points and 11 boards and 1 assist. Then Sophie Brunner with a double-double as well for the Sun Devils, 15 points and 10 rebounds. And then Katie Hempen with 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists.
While the women may not have been able to take home the win, they did maintain a bright outlook as they reflected on the game.
I liked how hard we played tonight. It was probably the hardest that we've played all season long, and had a shot to win it, and just felt like they made a few more plays down the stretch. You got to give them a lot of credit.
I can feel us getting better every game and getting even a step closer every game, so that's not demoralizing. That kind of uplifts you and just kind of keeps you pushing harder.
CU women's basketball coach Linda Lappy tested her on-air skills this week as she featured in a one-on-one program with Altitude Sports and Entertainment. The program will feature interviews with Lappy, former CU coach Seal Berry, and players, as well as dive into Lappy's past experiences as a player. The show will air on DirecTV 681 tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. as well as 10:30 p.m. So don't miss out on a story about this successful CU coach.
You know, making the big dance has become an expectation for Tad Boyle and his teams. After 3 straight appearances, you could understand why. However, that streak could be in jeopardy with how they've been playing this season. We have Alec Moylan in studio to answer all your questions regarding our team's struggles.
Hello, and welcome to Buff Banner. I'm your host, Alec Moylan, and I'm here to answer your CU sports questions. Our first question is by Dean Smith, who asks, why do you think we're struggling against the Pac-12 this year? To answer your question, Dean, first of all, I would have to mention that the Pac-12 is no pushover conference. The conference is led by Arizona and Utah, but the Pac-12 is solid most of the way down, with no game being an easy win. However, I think the major reason for our team's 4-5 record against the Pac-12 is because the team is wildly inconsistent this year. In years past, we would normally beat teams we were expected to beat and compete against the teams that we were not. This year, it seems as if we play down to our opponents and completely unravel in big games. The Pac-12 is definitely a challenging conference, but the team can only blame itself for the position it's in. Our second question is by Melissa Cruz that asks, what will it take for the team to make the big dance? Well, Melissa, as it looks right now, the chances of the men's team making the NCAA tournament appears slim. However, if the team is going to make the tournament, they'll have to make a statement this weekend against Utah. In the last game between the two, Utah smoked the Buffs 74-49 in a game where the Buffs came in on a 2-game win streak. This time we come in on a tough loss to UCLA, but this game is a must-win for the Buffs. To the NCAA tourney committee, the major thing that they need are impressive wins against highly competitive teams. So far this season, the Buffs have lost to all of their ranked opponents. with their best win coming against UCLA. The team sits at 11-10 on the season, so getting a win against a ranked opponent in Utah should look good to the tourney committee. We don't have to go undefeated, but if we're going to beat teams we're capable of beating and finish strong, we'll have a decent chance to make the tournament. That's all the time we have. I'm Alec Moylan. Back to you guys at the desk.
Guess what, Buffs fans? We beat CSU in something. No, wasn't football or basketball, but it's still kind of a big deal.
And it wasn't just National Signing Day for football. Stay tuned to see which recruits joined our women's soccer team.
CU students who join the Peace Corps are usually very adventurous people, very outdoorsy. They usually are very caring, very passionate people.
For the second year in a row, CU Boulder has outproduced all other universities in the nation, both big and small, in the number of alumni who are serving as Peace Corps volunteers. That's a very, very important thing for us.
Peace Corps continues to be the gold standard for international volunteer service. It's Americans making a difference around the world, and many of those Americans have come from this great university.
I'm not sure if it's a beautiful setting or the mountains or the weather, but one thing's for sure, there's a special civic pride on this campus.
The great spirit of volunteerism here on campus and internationalism that you find here really just kind of brings Peace Corps out a little more than it does on other campuses, I think.
You should be very proud to come from a campus that inspires so much public service and collectively works to build a better world.
This house was almost saved from a fire that was almost put out by neighbors who almost volunteered. As generous a nation as we are, sometimes instead of giving, we almost give. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
CU Women's Soccer gained 7 new student athletes during National Signing Day on Wednesday. With the loss of 6 graduating seniors, head coach Danny Sanchez is looking forward to the addition of new blood. Last season, the Buffs made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament before losing to the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. Sanchez's recruiting class consists of 3 midfielders, 2 forwards, a defender, and a goalkeeper.
The men's golf team will be tested this week as they compete in the 24th annual Amur Aerie Hawaii Hilo Invitational. The tournament runs Thursday through Sunday and will pit the CU Buffs against 7 other Pac-12 schools. Head coach Roy Edwards considers the Hawaii Hilo Invitational one of the top 10 amateur tournaments in the world due to the elite players it attracts.
For the 29th consecutive time, Colorado's women's tennis team beat rival CSU at the Fort Collins Country Club. With the season picking up, the Buffs are still undefeated at 4-0. This is the best start in school history since their 1998 and 99 season. Senior Ashley Teifel and junior Alex Aleo started the day with an easy victory in doubles, followed by the freshman Tina Boca, who won her 4th straight match and the 8th of her collegiate career. The Buffs continued to roll with the final tally of 7-0.
Now we here at Sportsback know life can get you busy, and it can be hard to keep up with the 12 Division I sports that CU has to offer, as well as our club teams. Have no fear though, Denora Avendano Curiel is in studio for this week's segment of Rapid Fire to keep you updated.
Hello Buff fans, welcome to Rapid Fire. My name is Denora and I've got something great for you today. Now, I'm not just talking about my hair. There is some wild action happening right here at Buff Nation. Let's see what we've got in store for you. First, women's tip-off this weekend at UCLA against UCLA. Game will be at 8 p.m. Don't worry if you cannot make the trip right now, it'll be live streamed. Next, the men will take the court against Utah right here at the heart of Buffalo at Coors Event Center. game starts at 8 p.m., so make sure to go and support your Buffs. And finally, we've got the first match of the lacrosse team against DU on Wednesday, February 11th at 3 p.m. right here at Boulder, so make sure you go and support your CU Buffs teams. This is all the time we've got. This is another segment of Rapid Fire. Stay cool out there. See you, Buffs.
Coming up after the break, we'll finally get you that trivia question you've been dying to know.
And just in case you haven't gotten your social media fix for the week, we've got your tweet of the week coming up.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Lewis and Clark, great explorers. Hey, wait. Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Would you check out the West for me? Oh, sure. And they take their keelboat up the Missouri. Oh, Buffalo. Then they built Fort Mandan. They're at 1804. Made some friends along the way. I'm Sacagawea. Through the Columbia Gorge.
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
The sweet Pacific Ocean. Yeah!
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblums, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit americansforthearts.org.
No, what'd she say?
She said whatever.
No, she says that all the time.
What's that?
Hello? I'm on the phone. Mom, I'm on the phone! Hello? I'm on the phone.
Who's this? It's me. I'm on the phone. Mom.
Oh, you're on the phone. All right. Sorry. Anyway.
Who are you talking to? Kelly?
Mom.
All right.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Well, if you hadn't had the opportunity to tweet your trivia guess, unfortunately, it's too late because I have your answer. But just in case you forgot, we asked, who was CU's head coach when they won the national championship in 1990? And the answer is Bill McCartney. He remains the most successful football coach in CU history.
News of an unlikely hero of the Super Bowl is taking over the internet. Yes, we're talking about the one and only Left Shark. He was one of Katy Perry's backup dancers during her halftime performance, but let's be honest, Left Shark stole the show. He won everyone's hearts when he adorably messed up his choreography. This week's tweet of the week is from Left Shark himself. Poking fun at Left Shark's forgetful mishap, he tweets, hashtag Throwback Thursday to the only rehearsal I've ever gone to. Hashtag good times, hashtag youngin'. It's nice to see he has a sense of humor about it. You go, Left Shark. Well, unfortunately, it's that time again, and we must say goodbye. But it's been a great show.
It really has been, Joey.
Have a great weekend, Buffs fans, and we will see you next week.